Good evening, everyone. My name is Gabriel Garcia, and today we'll be covering our men's basketball team's recent trip to Maui, Lane Kiffin's jump to LSU, and MLB's recent partnership with NBC. Welcome to Hall Zone. Just before Thanksgiving, the men's basketball team wrapped up a statement trip to the 2025 Maui Invitational, opening with a 85-74 upset over nationally ranked 23rd NC State before battling through a tight loss to USC and finishing with a strong third-place win over Washington State. Head coach Shaheen Holloway praised the team's identity after the opener, saying, quote, "We just played solid half-court defense, but that's who we are. I thought we played Seton Hall basketball today," end quote. Guard A.J. Stain-McCray echoed that mentality, noting, quote, "That's Seton Hall basketball, just playing aggressive on offense and on defense. As long as there's no miscommunication, we're all good defensively," end quote. Stain-McCray was also featured on the all-tournament team, representing the Pirates, scoring 22 points, shooting 7 out of 11 from the field, and grabbing 8 rebounds in the win against the NC State Wolfpack, and scoring 20 points on 8 out of 14 from the field against Washington State. These performances also earned him Big East Player of the Week. Just 8 games into this season, they're already matching their previous season's wins. With disciplined defense and balanced scoring throughout the tournament, the Pirates' performance in Maui signaled that they may be positioned for a breakthrough season. Heading over to college football now, there is drama down in the SEC as the Ole Miss Rebels coach Lane Kiffin has jumped ship to LSU. Kiffin announced the change on social media Sunday, writing, quote, "After a lot of prayer and time spent with family, I made the difficult decision to accept the head coaching position at LSU," end quote. Despite a historic 11-win regular season with the Rebels, with promise of a college football playoff run, Kiffin's request to finish out the season with the Rebels was denied by athletic director Keith Carter. His contract is said to be a large one, reportedly being a 7-year deal worth approximately $90 million. This will set Kiffin as one of the highest paid coaches in college football at LSU. He succeeds a fired coaching regime led by Brian Kelly and arrives with a mandate to restore the Tigers to national prominence, a mission he called, quote, "a unique opportunity to lead the storied LSU football program," end quote. After the break, we'll be discussing the MLB going to NBC. Stay tuned.
For all, forever. A promise that began 170 years ago and still guides us today. A legacy of knowledge, faith, and transformation, born of vision, built on community. We are one university with one mission, to create an immensity of future good, as Mother Seton once hoped, to prepare minds, to open doors, to lead with compassion. This is Seton Hall. Driven by purpose, united by faith, reason, and possibility. And now, a campaign to elevate every Setonian, for all, forever. A historic goal to touch every corner of our university and every member of our community. We prepare leaders through scholarship. We enrich education through immersive experience and global reach. We strengthen our cornerstones with academic excellence, research, and faith. Because every gift touches every student, today and for generations to come. For opportunity, for discovery, for community. Join us in shaping the next 170 years. For all, forever. A campaign for a greater Seton Hall.
Lastly, MLB has struck a new 3-year media rights deal with NBC Universal, meaning that beginning in 2026, NBC, Peacock, and the newly relaunched NBC SN will become the exclusive home for Sunday Night Baseball, the Sunday morning MLB Sunday leadoff package, marquee primetime games, including Opening Day and Labor Day, and the entire postseason wildcard round. MLB Commissioner Robert Manfred said the network's, quote, "outstanding combination of high production value and powerful athlete storytelling makes MLB's return to the network an exciting opportunity to continue the sport's growth," end quote. For fans, the shift promises a unified, weekly primetime destination for baseball, with Sunday nights now delivering the familiar mix of football, basketball, and starting in April, America's pastime. Stick around after this short break. Next, we have Anchor Point, the official debate show of Hall Zone.
Hello, and welcome to Anchor Point. I'm Sanaya Jones, and I will be your moderator tonight. I am joined by Anthony Vega.
Hello.
And Matt Malchiotti.
How's it going, everyone?
So firstly, I want to get into the NBA MVP predictions. Matt, we'll start with you.
Oh yeah, we got a lot to talk about with the MVP discussions. So really, my prediction for the MVP is going to be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as the winner. The reason why I say that is because Shai has been just such a great leader for this team. The Oklahoma City Thunder had the best record in the NBA last year and currently are sitting at a 20-1 record at the time of me writing my notes down. And under his leadership, his team posted, like I said, the best record. That kind of success is often a big factor for MVP voting. Last year's championship was also a great example because that was the first time the Oklahoma City Thunder won a championship in Oklahoma City. The last time they even won the NBA championship, or the finals, excuse me, was when they were the Seattle Supersonics, and that was all the way back in 1979. Some will argue that like other stars, like centers and big men, produce great numbers, but only a few can produce and combine the efficiency, scoring volume, defense, and team success like SGA.
Okay, Anthony?
Well, I do agree that SGA is an incredible basketball player. I personally am leaning much more towards the starting center for the Denver Nuggets, Nikola Jokic. As of today, December 2nd, Nikola Jokic is averaging 29 points per game. Pair that with 12.8 rebounds per game and 11.1 assists per game. He is currently the only player in the NBA that's qualified to be averaging a triple-double. And once you go into the much more advanced stats, he has a 127.6 offensive rating compared to SGA's 124.2. A 114.2 defensive rating compared to SGA's 104.9. I understand that SGA is an incredible basketball player and the Thunder are an incredible basketball team, but when you compare that, SGA also has a lot more talent. I think when in comparison to Jokic, where in Oklahoma City you have likes of Chet Holmgren, who's playing excellent this year. Jalen Williams is just now coming back. Alex Caruso has been excellent defensively, whereas with Jokic, it's primarily just Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray. I understand the Nuggets' record isn't as good as the Oklahoma City Thunder's right now, but I think from a purely statistical standpoint, that Nikola Jokic right now outpaces Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you on that. Like, we can both, like, as debaters, can like agree with each other that these are both very talented players, 100%.
Excellent.
Excellent, even, yeah. But like, I still stand by that Shai is going to be the MVP like winner. And in fact, this is just like purely a betting perspective, but Fox Sports argues that SGA is favored to win and his odds are being up by 155, while Jokic is up plus 165. So really this is like, if you're going by a betting, like a sports betting perspective, the odds are in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's favor.
Well, I can understand that from a monetary perspective, especially when it comes to betting and that whole impact in basketball. I just don't really think there's a world where you can take off both players from each team and you say that for as good as the Denver Nuggets are you can't really take off Jokic from that team and they'll have the very similar success, whereas you look at the supporting cast of the Oklahoma City Thunder, again, I'm mentioning it, Alex Caruso was excellent, he stepped up well. Luke Van Stort has been an incredible contributor to that team since he signed with them as an undrafted free agent. They have Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, while Isaiah Hartenstein as well. But I think personally, I lean more towards Jokic just based off of how well he's doing. And I understand the Nuggets record isn't anywhere near the Thunder's record right now.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of who is being more valuable to their team. And right now, I lean more towards Jokic.
Yeah, I got you.
Any last thoughts, guys?
No, I think I'm all good.
Alrighty, so we're going to head on to the NFC conference. Who do we think is winning? Anthony?
I will open this up first. The NFC is an incredibly stacked conference this year. However, I feel as though the team that's standing head and shoulders above the rest is the Green Bay Packers. Currently, they sit at a record of 8-3-1. I understand that, yes, that's second in the division to the Chicago Bears. However, they are 3-0 against the NFC North, including sweeping the defending NFC North champions, Detroit Lions. In their previous 3 victories in 3 games, they've put up 27, 23, and 31 points, respectively. The Packers' talent, to me, is second to few, if not none, in the NFL. Jordan Love, I understand, kind of can be a little bit shaky, but as of right now, he's 10th in passing yards with 2,794, as well as tallying 19 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions, and having a QBR of 72.9, which is 3rd in the NFL. Pair that with their trade acquisition of Micah Parsons before the season, who I understand while he's not putting up Myles Garrett numbers, he's been incredible this year. 12.5 sacks, 12 tackles for loss, 24 QB hits. And then the talent on the team with Love, Jacobs, Dobbs, Matthew Golden, Devontae Wicks on the offense, to me, just puts them a step above any other team.
Yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from. Like, definitely. I definitely think that Green Bay is a very well put together franchise. I just don't really see them as good as a contender as the Seattle Seahawks are currently. I feel like Seattle's got more of a veteran composure, like real leadership, and guys who have actually been in the in big moments. I feel like they have a much more balanced roster, and they definitely have, like I said, Sam Darnold currently is in the 7th in the league with 2913 yards, and actually I believe with Jordan Love he is tied for 19 touchdowns, which is 7th in the league. So when we're going by a quarterback perspective, these two men are really, really good in their position. I just feel like Seattle has a little bit more of an edge, strictly based off of veteran status with Sam Darnold.
Well, I understand that veteran status is important. The Green Bay's talent, to me, just seems second to none. Not to mention that, obviously, they have a big game coming up this Sunday against the Chicago Bears.
Oh, yeah.
They win that game, they then take control of the NFC North, and I believe would now be in place for the number 1 seed, which opens up the possibility of them hosting 2 playoff games at Lambeau Field, a historical venue, especially when it comes to football. And I can speak for a lot of NFL teams when you do not want to be playing in Green Bay, Wisconsin come January. With how low the temperatures get there and how rowdy the fan base is, to me, it's just incomparable.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely get behind the weather environment of Lambeau Field. Absolutely a crazy place to work and play at, really. But if we're going off of fan atmosphere when it comes to NFL stadiums and environments, Lumen Field is really second to none when it comes to fan loudness. In fact, a little while ago, I forgot what year exactly this was, but they had the former record of the loudest NFL stadium ever. So, and not to mention that one game, it was a Beastquake. The fans actually set an earthquake, a small actual earthquake on the Richter scale for how rowdy and loud the environment was. So I feel like if these two teams were to play in the playoffs, I feel like it really just comes down to fan environment. And really, if Seattle plays in Lambeau, they might still have a good chance, Green Bay I'm talking about, to win that game. But because Lambeau is the Green Bay Packers are used to playing in that stadium, while Lumen Field is just one of the hardest stadiums ever to play in because of fan loudness and team atmosphere. The 12th man is really not something to play around with in the NFL, so that's just what I think as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of playoffs, I kind of just want to move into our last topic, which is the last bubble team to make the college football playoffs. What do we think about that, Matt?
I will start this one out.
Okay, Anthony.
Right now, the team I believe to be the last one in for the college football playoffs, excluding the 4th and 5th conference champion, I have as the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I understand that they came off to a rough start to the year, losing their first 2 games, but they've won 10 straight, and some of the margins of those victories: 26-point victory against Purdue, 43 points against Arkansas, 21 points against Boise State, 29 points against North Carolina State, 10 points against USC, 15 points against Boston College, 39 points on the Navy, which tough for our military, 22 points against Pittsburgh in Pitt while they were ranked and had game day there, a whopping 63 points against victory against Syracuse, and then 29 points this past Saturday against Stanford. To me, Notre Dame's clicking at the right time. They're playing a much better brand of football than they were at the beginning of the year. And above all else, I think Marcus Freeman's an incredible head coach. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder after last year's loss in the national championship. I think they really want to get back, and they really want this last shot.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see how they really do want it. And Notre Dame is a great football squad, absolutely one of the more historic football squads in America, really. However, I really do have a hard time thinking that like they could, like obviously I think they might have a shot at making it. I'm still favoring towards, as much as this pains me to say this, Alabama, only because like they are a heavy favorite to be the last team, or the last bubble team, excuse me, in this playoff picture. It's not going to be easy, though. They still need to win the SEC championship against Georgia. However, if we're going off of like their record, they've already beaten number 4 Georgia in the past, early September, and they can still win games whenever it matters. Like their game against number 8 Oklahoma saw the Sooners win 23-21, which, if we're going off of like losses, they're only losing by like a couple points, minus of course the Florida State game back in August. Despite this, they can still, like I said, win games when it matters. They won against Auburn in the Iron Bowl, 27-20. They won an absolutely crucial game against the Tennessee Vols in Tennessee, 37-20. And they also were able to beat, like I said, Georgia earlier in September. So while Notre Dame is still a good football squad, and I can really congratulate them for turning it around from the earlier season, I still think Alabama just holds a slightly bigger edge than Notre Dame.
I just have some trouble seeing Alabama being that last team, especially if they don't beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. That then kind of cancels out one of their bigger victories in the year. And again, as you mentioned, the back-breaking loss to Florida State to begin the season, a Florida State team that isn't even bowl eligible this year. They went 5-7. I just don't really know how, especially if you're going to be comparing a 3-loss Alabama team versus a 2-loss Notre Dame team. The 2 losses that Notre Dame had, while the loss to Miami was very bad, losing to Texas A&M, that's another team that's going to be in the college football playoffs, and I think that's 2 close losses that close in the gap to wherever Alabama is, especially giving off their victories against Tennessee and Georgia.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Like, I can still see both of these teams making a potential like playoff berth and stuff. I just still believe that Alabama can really pull this off if they just win the game against the Georgia Bulldogs in the SEC championship. And while yes, they did lose to a Florida State team that is not even bowl eligible, they have really bounced back from the beginning of the season. So you can really like see the improvements that they've made with this squad and this team, and it's really interesting to see like everything perform out on the field. But yeah, that's just what I'm thinking about.
Fair.
Yeah.
Be a very interesting decision for the committee to make in a couple weeks. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Alrighty. I'm so glad you guys got to debate. That is it for Anchor Point. Next we have Deckside Chats with Jay Costa, Jeremy Sun, and Cameron Price. Don't go anywhere.
Hello everybody, I'm Jay Costa, and this is Deckside Chats. I'm joined by Jeremy Sun and Cameron Price. Boys, we're going to start off with the pressing topic. Our boys in blue were swashbuckling in the Pacific in Maui for the Maui tournament. We played NC State, we played USC, we played Washington State. We're going to go game by game, talk about them. A great sequence of games. Obviously, we started off with the first team in the country, the first unranked team in the country to beat a ranked opponent. We beat 23rd ranked NC State 85-74. I want to hear both of y'all's thoughts, and then I'll chime in as well.
I'd say that was peak Seton Hall basketball. We did everything right there against a really good NC State team. I just have to say, AJ State McCray, he is one of our guys. He is the guys that is going to lead us, possibly sneak into the March Madness.
I think it should start off with that Big East defense, especially against a ranked opponent. Like, based off that momentum, it kept them going and kept us in the game. But especially our offense, it's been hot also, but there's times where offense is not very hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you talked about Cameron, you mentioned our guy. It is AJ State and McCray right now. He has filled in perfectly in that void that was left by Isaiah Coleman, and he's really filled in that role, that leadership role on this team. It's exactly what we need from him right now. And let's talk about the supporting cast. Obviously, this NC State game, we had 5 guys in double figures for points. Staten McRae, Mike Never Swing the Rock Williams, Elijah Fisher, Bud Clark, Najee Himes, and TJ Simpkins, all in double figures for points. It was a great game overall. It was complementary basketball through and through. And that's exactly what Seton Hall ball is, and that's what they're doing right now. Every single player is contributing and doing the most that they can to build this team up and provide a super, super cohesive environment and a super cohesive locker room.
Which I like to say, even though AJ Staten McRae is our guy, everyone's putting in the work. It's a team basketball, which I believe Coach has been preaching. And I just like to talk about Bud Clark. He is a great point guard, I would like to say. Maybe a little bit too much on the turnovers. He can fix that as the season continues. But again, if he just keeps on doing what he's supposed to do, just lessen the turnovers, I think he'll be pretty good for us.
Yeah, Jeremy, I think you mentioned the turnover problem to us as well before, and that's been an issue throughout all the games in the Maui tournament. But when you think about Bud Clark, Jeremy, what is the big picture of his role in this team?
He's just a really good all-around player, especially that team last year. Like, we're probably last in free throws, especially in the Big East play, when especially us only winning 7 games overall. But just everyone's doing their part, defensively, offensively. Like, Seton Hall's team, like, we're ranked number 10 in defense in the nation, which is going to keep us in games and maybe make a run at the NIT or even the NCAA tournament if we keep this up. Big East play hasn't started yet, but it's been really great so far.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get to that Big East play. And when it comes to defense, there's nobody better than Najee Himes. The young buck, he's getting the blocks. He's coming off the bench. He is a stud as a 6-man. I think he's making a good case to start down the line this season. He's going to be a big contributor this year in Big East play, next year, the year after that. He is a cornerstone for this program, and defensively, he is going to be the rock that gets Shaw over the hump in the Big East. I firmly believe that Staten McRae, Fisher, Clark, Hines, this is the core that can win us the Big East title and maybe even bring us to an Elite Eight in the next coming few years.
Yeah, I like how Hines plays. He's a major defensive that we really need, and I believe him getting those blocks are key contributors to the game, and I hope that he keeps on going on, even in the playoffs.
Yeah, and he really is spectacular. You can't ignore that talent there, and obviously he's coming off the bench. And we'll move on to that USC game, a devastating loss on Thanksgiving. It was a tough game to watch as a Seton Hall fan, as a Seton Hall student. 83-81, it came down to the last minute. Elijah Fisher couldn't capitalize on the free throws, but a great game from Bud Clark, probably his best game of the year when it comes to, you look at the opponent that he played, you look at the way that he was facilitating the rock, more secure than usual, a 7-2 assist to turnover ratio, 18 points, 8 for 14 from the field. Still 0 for 2 from 3, and 3-point shooting has been a problem with this team. Not really where we want it. You want it around that 40%. We're kind of hovering around that early 30s. But Bud Clark really showed out that game, and him and Staten McRae were a 1-2 punch to that USC team that almost got us over the hump against them.
Well, that USC game, like, you could talk about a lot of positives or negatives, and I'm more into positive. Yeah, we lost against USC, but at halftime, we were up 13 at some point. But overall, the officiating was not the best game, but you can't just blame it on officiating when you're up by 13. The defense did its job, but especially that 3-point shooting, it needs a lot of work, like you said, Jay. But overall, like, especially being NC State before this USC game, like, we had good momentum. Especially with Bud Clark, like, he's just a good all-around player.
Yeah, and it really is a quality loss. Like, you mentioned that, Cameron, and it's one of those losses that you can really get away with accepting.
Yeah.
And it's a loss it's not hard to swallow, and yes, it's unfortunate we lost, but you had mentioned it's not a hard pill to swallow at the end of the day because it's such a talented program like USC.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we have the key contributors. Everyone's doing their part, and we were projected to lose the Big East, and now look at us. We only have 1 loss. That's amazing. Coach Shaw knows what he's doing with his team. He knows how to coach. The players are listening. They really have a good chemistry together. I saw a video, and one of the commentators said that even though that they live together, like they have like good chemistry, always together. They're never apart. Like this team is something special.
Yeah, and that's really what you need from a team. It really is hard to go into Big East play if you're not cohesive. And we look at the big picture for Big East. It's coming up. We've got a couple games left. Obviously, we've got the Rutgers, the K-State game. But the big picture is the Big East. There's some big programs this year. UConn's looking to win it all. We've got St. John's with Bryce Hopkins and Zubi Ejiofor, who are going to be big competitors. How are we prepared, and how do we stack up against those teams for the rest of the season?
I'd say we take one game at a time, do what we did against NC State, and I believe that we're going to be solid. We're going to be solid. It's going to be a fight after fight after fight. It's not going to be easy. But again, if we continue how we played against NC State, I feel like we're going to win this.
What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, based off the NC State game, like, we play in one of the harder conferences in all of college basketball. But it's going to come down, can we shoot threes? Can we play defense consistently against these Big East teams? Yeah. That's what it's going to come down to. Especially, this team is feeling like that magic, like that 2022 team last time we made the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and you really do have to be careful for those trap games too, guys, because you look at the doormats of the conference like DePaul. Providence hasn't been as good as they usually are. Georgetown is improving and they're rising, but they're still not the program they used to be with the guys they had in the 80s. So you look at those programs, you can't look over those and can't overlook them. So those trap games are going to be very important for Seton Hall. If we can overcome those games, I think we have a very good chance in winning those higher profile games against the UConns, against the St. John's. Yeah. Obviously the games on our floor are going to be a lot easier to win, but I firmly believe, and I think it was Kirk Cousins, the Falcons quarterback, who said this, we can walk into their trap and take over their trap. There is no reason why we can't go into any stadium in the entire country and win that game.
I agree. Again, like I said earlier, we need to take one game at a time, even during the trap games. And again, like, we have to have consistent three-point shooting, like you said. I feel like our defense is still good, but it could be better.
Like, our team, we're relying a lot on our big mans, which is pivotal for this team. Like, to say this, we're probably not going to be one of the best three-point shooting teams in the nation, but that's fine. If we can move the ball, that's what it's going to take for this team. Like, the game's changed the last 10 years from dunking and having layups to more of a three-point shooting game. But if we could just make those simple layups, just move the ball, I feel like this team will have a good run in Big East play, especially those teams against UConn. You got St. John's. They've had good programs, not a status, but they have more scholarship in their athletic department. But this team just has heart, and they want to win because they know they could win.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Jeremy. And we're going to have a spectacular season the rest of the season. We're going to beat Rutgers. We're going to beat K-State. We're going to run the table in the Big East. We'll wrap it up here on Deckside Chats. Thank you for joining us. And from everyone here at SHU TV, happy holidays.